Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is my second channel. You probably know me, maybe, from my main channel, which is Cimorelli, the band I'm in with my sisters. On this channel, my second channel, I make videos about pregnancy, motherhood, the band I'm in, Cimorelli, motivational, inspirational stuff, and advice, and lots of other stuff. Today, as you know, I'm gonna be telling a little bit of the story of how I started Cimorelli, the band, which ended up being a YouTube channel with over 5 million subscribers and having songs that have millions of streams, which is really amazing, and videos with lots of views, and ended up being a success that I got to make into my lifelong career, which is amazing. So I'm gonna share a little bit about that, and then I'm gonna share what do I regret, what do I not regret. So I did ask you guys on my Instagram, Christina Cimorelli, I asked you to ask me things if I regretted them or not, and I'm going to be answering those today. But first, we're gonna start with the story. So I'm gonna go into that right now. So on our Patreon, we have a Cimorelli Patreon, patreon.com/Cimorelli, and I've been doing we're doing the Storytime series, and I've been telling the story of what happened before Cimorelli, and then what happened in the early days of Cimorelli. I'm basically telling the whole story on Patreon, so that inspired me to want to share some of that story with you guys. If you want to see the full in detail, you need to join Patreon, because I'm really going into detail there. But I still this is such a cool story. I feel like I should share it more. So basically, Cimorelli, the band, officially started in 2007-ish when I was 16 or 17. And I had wanted to start a band before, for a while. I really wanted to be in music. When I was 15, I decided I wanted to be in music. And I just didn't know how it was gonna work exactly, because we lived in Sacramento-ish area. It's actually called El Dorado Hills, and that's Northern California. And that is not the music industry. When you say you're from California, I think people think you're from LA, but no. That was not the music industry. That was not the entertainment industry. We didn't really have any connections. So I was I have no idea how I'm gonna make a career out of music. I really didn't know. But I really wanted to do it. So I decided that when I was 15, and I started putting songs up on MySpace. I put up a song, and this old man commented, "You suck." And I was like, what am I gonna do? It was devastating, honestly. I'm laughing about it now, but it was devastating. I was 15 and it was devastating. But anyway, I didn't really like the whole solo thing that I was doing, because I really wanted to be in a band, was my dream, but I didn't know what to do, because I tried to start one with these friends I had, and it literally went nowhere. My mom was saying you should start a band with your sisters, and I was because I had I have 5 sisters. I was gonna say I had 5 sisters at the time, but I definitely still do. And they're all younger than me, in case you didn't know. I'm the oldest. I'm now 30. But anyway, back then, 16, 15, that age, my mom was telling me I should start a band with them, and I was like, no, what do you know? Basically. And then the Jonas Brothers actually really inspired me. I was this is so cool. They're siblings. They're Christian. They were really Christian at the time. I was they're Christian. They're this clean, fun group. I liked them because they seemed like us. They were clean and fun, which I feel you don't always see those two together. And then they were siblings, and they were heartfelt and deep, and had a good message, but also had this wacky fun side. And I was that is just like my sisters and I. We could totally be like that. My sisters didn't want to join a band, except for my 2 younger ones, Amy and Lauren did. So all we did was do a photo shoot and take a picture and practice a couple songs. That's literally all we did. And then my mom ended up actually booking us, our band that didn't exist, for this Christian, this church show or something. And I was she's do you guys think that you could learn instruments and songs and everything in the next few months for this show? We played piano, and Amy kind of played guitar, and Lisa played drums, so did a couple of us actually. Kath, I don't think she played bass, but everyone was okay, let's just learn everything for a show for this band that doesn't exist yet. My brother joined too. So we all put it all together for this random church show, and Cimorelli was born. Then, how did we get on YouTube? see, I'm not going to go into all these details because I did that on Patreon, but I was like, we got to get ourselves out there. And we started like visualizing all the time, like two things. We have a record deal and we live in LA. Two things that I thought would be all we ever needed, which is crazy because later on, all I wanted to do was move out of LA and get out of our record deal, which we ended up doing. But the thing that started all for us in the industry was visualizing that all the time. We just sat on the couch and visualized that. I don't know what I thought was gonna happen, but about 6 months later, we did have a record deal and we did move to LA. We put up the Party in the USA cover was our first cover. We had actually done some other videos before, but the cover of Party in the USA, that was like what launched us, and YouTube was really early in that time. We didn't really know what we were doing, but we were just like, let's just keep putting up videos. People seem to like us, except for all the hate comments. That was rough, but people seem to like us. Let's just like keep trying this out and just like experimenting, which is like one of the biggest tips I give to people for advice, career advice. I say like, you have to do things to figure things out, to make decisions. It's tough because we just want to be able to like decide everything and then just know that it will work and we made a good decision, but you don't really know if something is a good decision or the right direction until you do it. Then things become really clear, like, oh, this is not the right direction. There's only so much you can think about and decide before you have to do it. So one of the biggest pieces of advice, try as much as you can. That's what we were doing. We were just trying different things and having fun. And I mean, taking it really seriously. Like we'd spent so much time working on like our singing and our harmonizing and stuff that this was like something we'd worked on for years. And then we were getting to put it out there for people and people were appreciating it and liking our harmony arrangements, which was really cool. But anyway, that is there's so much more to the story, but there's so many interesting things. But I don't know if you guys want to hear more about it, so let me know if you do want to hear more about it. I feel like I have a lot of interesting stories to share and a lot of interesting career advice as well, but let me know if you want to hear that. I don't know what people are interested in. I think it's interesting though. But anyway, that's how I started Cimorelli, which I should give my mom a lot of credit because she kept saying that and she booked us that show, but she didn't like push us into it. So I think she did a good job with that. Now I'm gonna get into what do I regret or what do I not regret? Juicy. First one, do you regret getting signed with that lady from London? Okay, so that lady would be Sarah Stennett. She actually, I was just looking her up on Wikipedia to figure out exactly what she has done to tell you guys. She managed or launched the careers of Jessie J, Ellie Goulding, Iggy Azalea, managed Zayn Malik. I don't know if she still does. Maybe more, but I can't think of more right now. She signed us like right off the bat. We signed with her management in London right off the bat after the Party in the USA video. They literally flew, I was just telling the story on Patreon. They literally flew someone from London like immediately to our house in California to see what we were all about, and they liked us and they signed us with their management. Sarah was, in a lot of ways, she was really awesome. I definitely do not regret that at all. She got us a lot of opportunities, a lot of experiences that I really grew from and we learned so much from. So that's definitely not a regret. Nope. Do I regret including any sister into the group? Absolutely not. 100% not. I am very happy that every sister joined the group. I do not regret that. But there's something on that I do regret coming up in the questions. Do you regret starting at a young age? I wasn't that young. I don't know what you consider young, but I was on YouTube for the first time when I was 19. I just turned 19. And I think that was a fine age for me personally. So like 19, 20, I do think is like a pretty good age. I'll talk about that more later, but I do not regret myself starting at that age. I think that was a good age. Do you regret living much of your childhood in the spotlight? I did not live my childhood in the spotlight at all. At all. I think this person doesn't realize how old I am. I am 30 years old. So no, I did not live my childhood in the spotlight, and I do not regret like living my 20s in the spotlight. Maybe I kind of regret that, but I mostly don't. I think it is a little bit rough, a little confusing, vulnerable, you know, having so many people judge your career when you're in such a vulnerable time and age, that is definitely kind of rough. So, but I don't know if I can regret that without regretting the whole thing, which I don't. So, do you regret signing with a record label? No, I do not think so, because we got a lot of great opportunities out of it. And once again, I had great experiences. I learned so much from our label. Like, I learned a lot of things I did not want to do, and I learned a lot of things to do. We got to work with so many cool, successful people in the industry that we just got to learn from all of them and then apply that when we left and were on our own. We got to apply all that stuff we learned. So I do not regret it. It's kind of an interesting situation, but we were like kind of pressured. People tried to pressure us into things that we didn't believe in, like from the label or in the industry in general. And we, for the most part, I don't think we really gave in almost at all. So I don't really have regrets there. I think a lot of people, a lot of artists, they have that story where they're at a label and they just pressure them into all this stuff they don't really believe and don't want to do, and they really regret it later on. But that didn't really happen with us because we stayed pretty strong. Next one. Do you regret not releasing any songs that you guys have written? Okay, my sisters and I, yesterday, we were listening through a bunch of our old songs that we didn't release, coincidentally actually, and I was like, man, I wish our label had actually like gotten behind these and released these. I think they could have been like really successful, but then I was like, where would we be right now though? And you're probably thinking the opposite. You're probably thinking like, I wish that we had had more mainstream success with our music in the early days, but I am really skeptical about if that would have led us to a good place. I feel like that would have led us deeper into the industry and into, you know, narcissism culture and all that, feeding the flames, and more temptation and just more things that ultimately I think destroy your life, honestly. So I have to say I don't regret that, even though I kind of wish we had, but I don't really regret it. This is not a regret. It's not a regret phrased question, but they said, what is one thing you wish you never did? I mean, that fits in, right? One thing I wish I never did. I think I wish I wasn't so hard on myself. I feel like everyone says this. I really wish I hadn't been so hard on myself, because I could have just instead been nice to myself and supportive and building myself up when I was younger, and would have gotten in a way better place than just being so hard on myself all the time. But it's so hard to know that when you're younger, obviously, but I really wish I had not been so hard on myself and having all these mental breakdowns all the time. I was creating them because I was so hard on myself. Do you regret not talking about the gospel? We didn't talk about our faith very much in the beginning, but we did start talking about it more, but we still don't talk about it like a ton. We more just like live it is our goal. And I don't, maybe I regret in the beginning. Yeah, I would say, yeah, I think I regret that in the beginning. I think I regret it because there were times where I would like want to mention something and I wouldn't. Yes, I do regret that. Even like in person, it just felt like in LA, this is a while ago in LA. This was like, I don't remember how many years ago, 2015, no, 2010? What? This is like 2010, 2015. This is a while ago. And I didn't say things because it just felt like in LA, like, don't talk about God, don't talk about, don't talk about religion, don't talk about God, just like keep your mouth shut. And I did keep my mouth shut in that way for a while, and it felt so wrong after a while. I'm like, what am I doing? So I think I do regret that. Although I do think when it says like preach the gospel when necessary, use words, I do think it's better in most situations to not be using words but be using actions, if that makes sense. Do you regret putting your life in the public eye? I kind of do regret that. Although it's tough because you can't have this career without doing that. But I kind of do regret that because there have been some like really painful, really scary, really heartbreaking things have happened because of putting my life in the public eye. So I do kind of regret that. Do you regret that you didn't finish college? Kind of, but I also can still finish college. Because I really would like to get a degree in something in like the psychology world, I think. So I kind of regret it because, you know, I probably could have done like online classes in the early days when we didn't have that much to do. When we were assigned in the early days, we had like nothing to do all day. So I kind of regret that. I wish I like furthered my education a little bit more so I was like didn't have this far to go. So yeah, I kind of regret that. What's the song that you regret releasing? Okay, so hopefully no one gets mad watching this. Probably you won't, because probably a lot of you don't know the song. I really don't like our song, Believe It. I really don't like it. I never liked it. My sisters and I all never liked it, and we didn't want to release it. But we were kind of pushed into releasing it. I really don't like it. No offense to whoever wrote it. I do not like it. I do not like the lyrics. I do not like the song. Also, I think people will be really upset, but it's not like I hate, but I'm not like obsessed with our song Wings. And I know a lot of fans love that song. I'm just not obsessed with it. It's not that I hate it though, and it has, you know, stuff I like about it, but I'm not obsessed with it. So, but I would say I kind of regret Believe It. Yeah, I regret Believe It. I don't think it was a strong release and I don't like it. I regret my makeup in the Believe It video. I really didn't like my makeup in that video. She did like the eyeliner really dark on the inner corners and my eyes are already close together, so that was a giant no. That's my regret. But we worked with Hannah Lux Davis on that video. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She's huge. So that was an amazing experience. So maybe I don't regret it. Okay. Do you regret not having the label? I think they mean leaving the label. No. I absolutely do not regret leaving our label. That was definitely the right move. Do you regret not having a solo career or do you like being in the group? I don't want a solo career if it meant I wouldn't be with my sisters. Solo career, like me releasing some songs on the side and being in the group, that would be fine. But I absolutely have loved getting to do this with my sisters, like absolutely loved. Do you regret wearing the clothes you wore during each video? Love you, heart. Thank you. Maybe some of them. I think some of the outfits I'm like, why'd you do that? Guys, you don't understand. Putting the outfits together has always been so difficult for me. It's gotten a lot easier, but guys, it has never been that easy for me. Do you regret being so appropriate? No, I do not regret being appropriate, especially knowing how disturbing so many people in the entertainment industry are. All these predators. A lot of people in the industry actually were trying to push us into being more inappropriate. And now knowing what we know about the industry, it's creepy thinking about their motivations, isn't it? Do you regret not living in LA anymore and becoming more famous and mainstream? No. I think it would have ruined my life, to be honest. So I'm really glad we got out of there and moved to Tennessee. Do you regret writing your book? We have a book called Believe in You, and no, I am so proud of that book. And the audiobook, honestly, the audiobook is so good. We recorded the audiobook with our very own voices, and I'm really proud of the book. I think it has like solid advice. I got to like hear it all over again when recording the audiobook, and I was very, very pleased with what we did. Do you regret the acting parts? I'm not a big fan of that. Thank you. See, being in the public eye, people get to tell you what part of your career they're not a big fan of. Whereas like, I'm not gonna go to you and be like, you know what? I'm not a big fan of the way you just did whatever. But anyway, I don't really take that much offense to this though. No, I loved acting. I thought it was really fun. And every acting thing that I've done in our career, don't regret it. No regrets. I think it was fun. Even anything we've done that's cringy is still entertaining. It's fun. Do you think, this is kind of the idea, do you guys think you could have been, do you ever think about what you could have been had you guys stayed with your record label. Yes, I do, and I'm definitely glad that we didn't. Do you regret pulling your sisters in at such a young age? Yes. This is my biggest regret, for sure. Like, my sister and I talked about this before. I definitely regret having them start at such a young age, but at the time, people didn't know what the internet was going to be and what it was going to do to kids, basically. So I think, we talked about this, I think Catherine and I were the least affected, but then Lisa down, they were really young. They were like, I think 16 down to like 10 or something when they started. And people didn't know at that time that being on the internet would like really be a painful and kind of a messed up experience for children. We didn't know it was going to be like that. Now, people know that, obviously, but we didn't know that before. It was such a new thing, and if I could go back, would I do all over again, know what I know now? No. Going back, I would say that being like 20, 18, that age is probably the right age if you are like more mature and you have like a strong sense of your values and your morals, and you have a good group of friends, which Kath and I kind of fit that, and we were the most unscathed. We were not unscathed though. We definitely were affected negatively in plenty of ways, but I would say overall it didn't hurt us or change us or like affect us really badly as much as it did the rest of my sisters. So I do think our age was fine for it with those things I mentioned. But I do definitely regret that, although it's like I didn't know. So can you regret something you didn't know? I guess. I wish I'd known that, but how was I supposed to know that? So I definitely do regret that. I wish that my sisters didn't have to go through that and they weren't affected like that, because it's, guys, when you go through something like this where you're in the public eye and you're being like torn down by strangers, you see hate comments, people comment on your appearance, your body, things about you that are just so personal and just shouldn't be commented on by hundreds of thousands or millions of people. Like, that's not normal or natural. When that happens to you, it like tears you down and it puts you in a really vulnerable place where it's very difficult to make good decisions and it's very difficult to be attracted to healthy people. So that, I really wish I could take all that back for my sisters. That's definitely not good at all, and I do definitely regret that. But I didn't go into it knowing that would happen, so I can't like blame myself, but I definitely regret that. Well, that is all the regrets. I was thinking of the meme with the R-A-G-R-E-T-S. That's all the regrets that I have for you today. I am filming a lot more recently, so I'm uploading regularly again. Yay! And make sure if you enjoy my videos, you subscribe, turn on the notifications, whatever. I don't even know. Do all that. And if you wanna, you wanna follow the rest of my motherhood journey, my next pregnancy, who knows when that will happen, whatever. Make sure you subscribe, because I don't really see myself abandoning this channel anytime soon. Does that really inspire confidence? Does that really motivate you to subscribe? Let me know. Leave your comments below. I really want to know what you guys think of this video, because I wasn't sure like if people actually wanted to see this video, but I wanted to make it. I thought it would be fun to make. So, and I actually did have a lot of fun making this. So let me know what you think and subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.